Finally, some peace and quiet.
What the hell are you doing, Jukes?
I'm on my lunch break, Chief.
Forget about that. We just got a big case. It's from way up high. You know that big oil pipeline they've been building over at the Rocky Mountains?
I don't follow the news that much.
Well, you better start. One of the protesters from some small town along the construction route went missing, and this media circus started creating all kinds of theories. My phone hasn't stopped ringing since this thing went public. Senators from both parties, lobbyists, CEOs, you name it. Everybody's on the edge. I told them I'd put my best man on the job.
I really appreciate your trust on this, Chief. I won't let you down.
Don't try your tight five on me, Jukes. All the best detectives are assigned to important cases. You're all I have left. You have about 50% clearance rate. You've never showed any initiative, but never broke any rules either. In fact, you might be the most average detective this office has ever seen. I don't know whether to fire you or give you a medal.
Thanks, Chief. I'll get on that as soon as I finish my lunch.
Lunch is for case closers, Jukes. Get your ass to Twin Lakes. Now!
What can you tell me about the case?
Like I told you, a protester went missing. It happened just as the construction reached her town, so it raised a lot of eyebrows. Locals will fill you in on the details.
Who is the missing person?
Some woman named Tammy Taylor. Looks like she was leading a protest group against the oil company. They were popular on the social media. Now we have some hashtag detectives trying to solve what happened to her without leaving their homes.
What can you tell me about the town?
It's just some one-horse town in the middle of nowhere. This is probably the only excitement they had in years.
Senators, huh? What makes this case so high profile?
Some people speculate that the oil company might have played a part in the disappearance. These are just rumors. Don't go around making wild accusations while you're there. Anyway, the investors call in on the campaign donations, then the politicians call me. You know how it works.
You don't really mean that average stuff, do you? I'm a pretty good detective.
Let it go, Jukes. Now is your chance to prove me wrong.
I never heard back on that Miami office transfer request.
If you don't solve this thing, there's a special post waiting for you at the Alaskan Records office.
Can I help you with something?
I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I've been assigned here to solve a missing person case.
Ah, God damn it. Those media assholes. I appreciate you coming all this way and all, but I assure you everything is under control. You can just go back to the city. We got this.
I'm sure you do, but since I'm already here, I might as well take a look around, if you don't mind.
Do what you like. Talk to Deputy Jones if you need anything. I'll be in my office.
What a warm welcome.
Welcome to Twin Lakes, Detective. I'm Deputy Ethan Jones. How can I help you today?
Well, you can start by filling me in on the case.
We don't have a lot of details. Tammy Taylor, a local woman, was reported missing by her mother 2 days ago. Sheriff thinks she's just doing this to cause drama.
Why?
Well, you see, they've been building this oil pipeline in town. Some of the locals organized a protest group. They've been causing trouble ever since.
Did you speak to the family and friends?
The sheriff said we didn't need to. He says she'll run back home when she's finally bored. If you want to talk to them, you can find the father, Rick, at the gas station. Her mother, Karen, is probably at the community center. She's been holding a vigil for her daughter. You can also try to speak to the protesters. They turned an old trailer over by the old mill road into an office.
Thanks. I'll do that.
Good luck, Detective. I'm sure the sheriff's right and there's nothing to solve, but if you need a search warrant, come see me. I'll call the judge and sort that out for you.
Right. Search warrant. I'll come see you.
Good hunting.
Save the trees!
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Hello, Detective. How can I help you?
Could you tell me your name and address?
My name is Mike Normal, and I live at Old Mill Road, across from the No More Oil office.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm just in town to protest this billion-dollar piece of infrastructure project.
You have a very odd way of talking.
I'm just a normal guy. Ha ha!
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
I'm only in town to support my associates in violent protest. No more oil. That's the motto.
You don't seem violent.
You just wait. Wink, wink.
Why did you say wink instead of just winking?
You notice all the details, Detective.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
She's the real head of our organization here in Twin Lakes.
I thought you were more of a collective.
Nope, she's the top dog. Greg is second in command.
And you?
Oh, I'm just a guy helping out. Don't mind me.
Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately that might be related to Tammy's disappearance?
I'm sure you'll find her soon, Detective.
Who would know more about Tammy?
I wish I could help you with that. Sorry.
What do you suspect happened to Tammy?
I wish I could help you with that. Sorry.
What can you tell me about the No More Oil Group?
We are at war with the American oil industry.
What can you tell me about the oil pipeline construction in town?
It'll never get finished if we have a say in it.
The post office is closed.
I'm really tired of holding this sign!
What do you think, boy? What to do next? How do I enter these houses? How do I get a search warrant? Warrant is available. And now what?
What if it's too late?
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Finally. What took you so long? Do you have any idea how long we have been waiting? She could be dead now because of you.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Yes, I'm Karen Taylor, Tammy's mother. We have a house at the end of Williams Road.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I have been calling your office since Tammy's house was on fire. My baby's house burned down, and she is nowhere to be found. Nobody is even investigating. I asked for the best detectives. Are you the best they had? Are you one of those genius detectives?
Ma'am, I'm sorry to say, I'm not some magical detective that's gonna smoke a pipe and look at some fabric to find out who the killer is. However, I promise you, I will do anything in my power to find your daughter.
That's good. At least somebody cares.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
It's just another unremarkable small town that nobody cares about.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
She's been very busy ever since she moved back into town. Her old stuff is in our house if you need to take a look.
Yes, that could help. What was she busy with?
For one thing, she is an activist working with the anti-oil group. It caused a lot of friction with the oil people. She would sometimes go camping by herself. I don't think that's it this time. She always told me before going, this is something different.
Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately that might be related to Tammy's disappearance?
Nobody seems to care. The sheriff won't move his butt to do anything. That deputy is as useless as a hat on a moose. Nobody is looking for my baby.
I am.
They said her phone was at home while it burned, yet she wasn't there. Who would leave their phone at home in this day and age?
That is suspicious. Who would know more about Tammy?
She was always very popular. You can talk to her high school friends, Aiden and Samantha. Then there's all the no more oil people.
What do you suspect happened to Tammy?
If I did, I would do something about it.
What can you tell me about the No More Oil group?
They're Tammy's little group. Hattie's boy, Greg, and that orange boy are with her. Also, some other people I never met.
It's never too late to atone for your sins.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
You are most welcome in this house of God, my son. The donation box is next to the door.
Could you tell me your name and address?
They call me Father Young, and my home is here. My legal name is Jerry Young. I live right behind the church, past the cemetery at Park Road. Not identifying yourself to an officer can be a misdemeanor in this state. Up to 12 months and a fine.
You know a lot about the law, Father.
My son, to guide your flock toward Jesus, you must know the laws of the Lord as well as the laws of men.
Amen. What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm a mere shepherd guiding my flock to find God and make a profit. I lead the dividend of the Christ Church. Perhaps you have seen our videos online.
Not really, no.
I did have a troubled past where I only took and took. When I was locked up, God showed me the way to take as well as give back. That's what I do now.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
A lost community that needs salvation. Thank the Lord I'm here to provide it. Most of my flock are online these days. So I moved here from Chicago for the low cost of living.
How did you come by this church?
I bought it for a modest price. The last priest was accused of misdoings and had a lot of lawyers' fees to pay. That's why online church is the safest.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
I'm sorry to say she wasn't a churchgoer. Those who don't follow the Lord will find themselves 6 feet under, with no light to guide them.
That's harsh.
It's easy to fix. Get a crucifix flashlight from our website for only $19.99.
Laura Carter, the town clerk, works at the bank.
A vote for me is a vote for America.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Welcome to Twin Lakes, Mr. Jukes.
Could you tell me your name and address?
We can skip the formalities, Detective. I'm sure you made your research before coming here.
Well, yeah, the car ride was kind of bumpy, you know. I had to look at the road, so...
Never mind that. I'm Deborah Cash. I live at Cash Manor near the Moose Lake. It's a private road. I'd appreciate it if you stayed clear.
You bet, ma'am. What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm the mayor of Twin Lakes. You could call me Senator Cash if you don't want to wait until the midterms.
I can wait. What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
Thanks to my business-friendly policies, Twin Lakes is well on her way to becoming the new center of commerce and industry in the state.
That's quite an achievement, ma'am.
Sarcasm doesn't suit you, Detective. You should stick to being professional.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
We were so heartbroken to hear about Miss Taylor's case. I'm sure with your help, our local PD will find her in no time.
Have you been looking for her too?
I've authorized the sheriff to use every resource our town has to find Miss Taylor as soon as possible.
Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately that might be related to Tammy's disappearance?
Unfortunately, I'm quite busy with the election campaign to help you out on that.
Who would know more about Tammy?
We are a tightly knit community of hard workers here in Twin Lakes. With cooperation and determination, we can overcome this situation.
Well, you got my vote, but that doesn't really answer my question.
It's time for a change.
Whoa! Fire!
You don't look like you need rehab.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Oh. Hello, handsome.
Could you tell me your name and address?
I'm Angela Carter. I live with my mom at the Old Mill Road. It's the cream-colored house behind the town hall.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I run the rehab. I just work all day saving people from drugs.
You sound very humble.
You like that, don't you?
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
It's an okay town. Not everywhere has people like me working for the community. Twin Lakes is so lucky.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
We're cousins, but we're close like sisters. She always got along with everybody. I can't imagine anyone not liking her.
Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately that might be related to Tammy's disappearance?
Not really. It's been a normal week.
Who would know more about Tammy?
She knows the seedy underbelly of this innocent-looking town better than anybody. I'm just joking. She hangs out with the oil activists. It's her latest cause.
What do you suspect happened to Tammy?
I don't believe anybody from the town would hurt her. If something bad happened to her, it must be from those out-of-towners. Maybe those oil people kidnapped her.
What makes you think that?
It's just like the plot of Angry 88. They kidnapped this brilliant woman scientist because she has so much dirt on the company.
Does she get away?
No, she dies. Tammy would find a way to escape. She's very resourceful. Don't worry.
What can you tell me about the No More Oil group?
They're so serious and annoying. I hope Tammy gets over that and finds a different hobby.
You're not worried about half the town getting destroyed?
I'll just move away. Plus, they're paying everybody so much money to buy their land. They offered us twice the market value for my mother's house.
That's interesting.
That's why nobody cares about the pipeline. We'll move away to bigger houses in St. Newman's.
What can you tell me about the oil pipeline construction in town?
Not much.
Do you know anything about Tammy's house burning down?
It was so weird. There was a loud bang, and then it went up in flames.
So you've heard an explosion?
I guess.
This is a private area.
Man, get the fuck away from me!
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
What?
Could you tell me your name and address?
I ain't telling you shit.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I ain't telling you shit.
All hours are happy if you're drunk.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Yeah? You got a warrant to ask me a question?
I don't need a warrant to ask you a question.
That's so. Well, I know my rights. So don't go asking nothing I don't want to tell you.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Name's Scott Cooper. They call me the Big Bear around these parts.
Do they really?
Yeah. That make you jealous or something? I live at the trailer park. It's the red one, right up front.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I ran the bar. You want a drink?
No, I'm on the clock.
So what? My brother's the sheriff. He drinks on the job all the time.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
It's becoming a total shithole. One of these days, I'm just gonna pack my shit and move to the woods, like Jim Bob did.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
Fucking traitors! Hating oil means you hate America. All of them should hang if you ask me.
That's a violent threat.
Yeah? Fuck them. If I see one of those little shits with a sign again, I'm gonna blast them to hell.
Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately that might be related to Tammy's disappearance?
Ha! Good riddance. That snobby bitch and her friends never drank here anyway.
Who would know more about Tammy?
I bet all those guys from her I Hate Oil club know her very well. They're all fuck the police types. You won't get much out of them.
And here you are, so helpful to the police.
You're welcome.
What do you suspect happened to Tammy?
I know what's been happening. Those baby-eating lizards in Washington finally showed their true faces. You can listen all about it on the Face of the Truth podcast.
I meant about Tammy.
Who gives a damn about her?
Are you on drugs?
Just some Lobodins and whiskey. Nothing major.
What can you tell me about the No More Oil group?
Those smug globalist assholes! One day I'm gonna go down to that little trailer and give them all a lead surprise right in their fucking heads.
Are you seriously threatening to kill them?
Fucking A! I'll do it one day. You'll see.
Do you know anything about Tammy's house burning down?
I would have put out the fire if my dumbass brother, the sheriff, let me volunteer again. It wasn't my fault those Mexican fireworks blew up his dog. That's what happens when you don't build shit in America anymore.
What can you tell me about the oil pipeline construction in town?
It's a project built by a Canadian multinational conglomerate using Chinese loans. What could be more American than that? I'm gonna turn the music up louder.
Good boy.
You look angry. Is something wrong?
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
You're not here to arrest me, are you?
Could you tell me your name and address?
My name is Aiden Long. I live at my parents' house at Moose Street. They're not home. Sorry.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I sell the lumber. I mean, I try to. My father was the owner of the lumber yard. Now, I just sit here.
What happened to your father?
Oh, they just packed up and moved to Thailand one day. Left me here on my own.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
It was a quiet town before all that constructions and activists flooded in.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
We used to date in high school. Then she left for college and never called. Not that I mind. It's okay. I got my own things going on right now. Lots of woodwork. Yeah.
Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately that might be related to Tammy's disappearance?
I wish I did. I've been searching for her all over the place.
Who would know more about Tammy?
I do, I think. We were really close once.
What do you suspect happened to Tammy?
It wasn't me, I swear. I know. I would suspect me too. People tell me that I have quiet murderer vibes.
How so?
Like I'm going to snap one day and just start killing unsuspecting women on isolated roads. I swear, I won't.
What can you tell me about the No More Oil group?
They seem okay, but my dad said don't join them, so I can't.
What can you tell me about the oil pipeline construction in town?
I try to not go there. All those heavy machines look dangerous.
Do you know anything about Tammy's house burning down?
It's so surprising. She didn't even have a stove. How could something like that happen? Good thing she wasn't home.
How do you know?
I was just in the area and saw her leave the trailer. It's not stalking. I just check up on her sometimes.
A burnt up device. I can pry open doors with this. Tammy's paintings were burned. Tammy's paintings were burned. I need to get permission or obtain a warrant to enter this house. This house is empty. This looks dangerous.
I'll never stop fighting for the environment.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Ah, the theater begins.
Do you have a license for that shotgun?
I don't have a license, but I've been getting death threats. Don't leave me unprotected, please.
You can keep it.
Man, I knew you were one of the good apples.
What can you tell me about this device I found at Tammy's burnt house?
Looks a lot like the stuff they use at the pipeline construction.
Could you tell me your name and address?
I'm Greg Williams, and I live at Old Mill Road next to this office. That's all I'm legally required to tell you. I know my rights.
That's okay. I doubt you have much information anyway.
Hey man, I have a ton of fucking information, okay?
Okay. What can you tell me about yourself?
I bet you already have a huge file on me. The feds always do.
Why don't you refresh my memory?
I'm with the No More Oil Collective. We are here to stop the destruction of our town by the oil companies.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
It's my town, and I'm not gonna let anyone destroy it.
That's very dramatic.
I mean that literally. Once that pipeline is finished, there won't be a town left. They're going to bulldoze the whole thing except for some lakeside houses.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
She was our everything, man. The face of the movement. She handled all the media stuff.
Why the past tense?
Don't kid yourself, man. We know she's been killed by the oil goons.
Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately that might be related to Tammy's disappearance?
Unusual? Man, they burned her fucking house down the same night she went missing.
What do you think happened?
Isn't it obvious? The oil goons did it.
Who would know more about Tammy?
What good is talking to you? You're just a tool of violence the capitalists use to oppress the working class.
And what sort of work do you do?
I tell the truth, man. It's a full-time job.
What do you suspect happened to Tammy?
It's way past suspicion, man. We all know that big oil asshole did it.
What makes you so sure?
Paul Stillman, the oil exec. He's been threatening us, sending his brainwashed goons to rip out our posters. I bet they killed her, man.
That's a serious accusation.
It's like Lennon said. You look for the person who will benefit, and bam, it's Paul Stillman.
What can you tell me about the No More Oil group?
We are protecting the earth. We're the last bastion of humanity against the corpo-fascist genocide.
Are you the leader?
We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune. You can't lead an idea. You can only share it.
Where is that from?
It's all original, man. I'm a fucking poet.
What can you tell me about the oil pipeline construction in town?
It's all the fucking chemicals. They made my hair fall out. I used to have thick, luscious hair, like a horse's mane.
Yeah, that seems important.
It is. How are we supposed to live up to these unattainable male beauty standards? Skinny, balding vegan men are discriminated against all the time.
We were talking about the pipeline.
It's the establishment, man. They're all part of it. The oil pipeline is just the start.
Do you know anything about Tammy's house burning down?
It's obvious the oil company goons set that fire. It's a classic suppression tactic. They did the same thing back in the 20s.
What did they do?
They burned down my tent back in 21.
Ha, those 20s.
I'm never going back to Burning Man.
This looks dangerous.
I'm watching you.
I have more questions.
Just stop pretending you care, man.
Do you have a license for that shotgun?
I don't have a license, but I've been getting death threats. Don't leave me unprotected, please.
I have to confiscate that.
Fascism strikes again! You might as well kill me yourself at this point!
Tammy's paintings were taken out of their frames. Tammy's paintings were taken out of their frames. Tammy was admitted to rehab.
I'll wait a couple of weeks. It'll be cheaper.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Welcome to Twin Lakes, Detective.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Certainly. Rick Taylor at your service. You can find me at the end of the Williams Road, if I'm not at work, which doesn't happen often. It's right near the big lake. Best house in town. Can't miss it.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
It's a quiet little town. Lived here all my life. Never saw anything bad happen.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm Rick Taylor, as you know. I own this gas station. I'm also building those lake houses you might have seen. You might say I'm the town entrepreneur. Not that there's much competition.
Lake House is right next to an oil pipeline. Interesting.
That's right. You can fill your boat up right from the source. I'm just fooling around. There won't actually be any fuel stations. People are very litigious these days.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
She's my daughter. I know you will follow any leads regardless of what I say. But I don't think my daughter is missing. My wife is overreacting, as always. Tammy always had a bad habit of running away for a few days and coming back like nothing even happened.
Any idea where she might be this time?
If you ask me, I'd say she's currently visiting some college friends.
Do you know which friends?
Not really. If you think it would help, feel free to search her old room at our house. Just take a left before you enter the main street, and it'll take you right to our house.
What do you know about Tammy's stay in rehab?
That's ridiculous. Tammy never did any drugs. My wife's niece manages that place. Go ask her if you don't believe me.
Some of Tammy's paintings are missing. Have you seen them?
I don't know. She has so many of them, and they all look the same to me.
What can you tell me about this device I found at Tammy's burnt house?
Nothing.
Welcome to Twin Lakes Supermarket.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
I really don't want to talk about my sister again.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Mary Lynn Taylor. I live with my parents at Williams Road.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I work at the grocery store. Ugh, I hate myself for saying that.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
This place is disgusting.
What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
She's my stupid sister. I bet she's not missing at all. Probably just left and never told anybody.
Well, I take it you're not very close?
Is it that obvious that I hate her for ruining my life?
How did she ruin your life?
She spent all the money Daddy had on some dumb art college. Now I can't afford to leave this freaking town.
What do you know about Tammy's stay in rehab?
I don't remember anything like that. It's not like she talked to me about her problems.
Some of Tammy's paintings are missing. Have you seen them?
She must have burned them in a trance of artistic crisis. Hashtag sarcasm.
Most people are terrible with money.
I have more questions.
Okay, just take a number.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Laura Carter, Old Mill Road.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I work at the bank. Do you need a loan?
Not right now. What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
What's the point? It won't be here for long.
Why is that?
The pipeline goes right through the town, so most of it will be demolished soon. Only thing left will be some lakeside land. Most of us got a good settlement to move away.
This is my car.
The sheriff says I can take his job when he retires.
I have more questions.
Hi there, detective.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Certainly, detective. I'm Deputy Ethan Jones. I live in the trailer at the Park Road.
What can you tell me about this device I found at Tammy's burnt house?
Can't help you there. Sorry.
Deputy, I'd like to get a warrant to search Scott Cooper's house.
Okay, the judge issued the warrant. You must serve the warrant to the person you want to search.
What can you tell me about the No More Oil group?
The sheriff says it's illegal, whatever they're doing. We just couldn't find the right law to arrest them on. Our town has seen better days.
I wasn't sleeping.
I have more questions.
Welcome back, Detective. I hope you won't be here too long. We wouldn't want those city boys missing you.
Could you tell me your name and address?
You ain't gonna start interrogating my ass, are you?
I'm just trying to get a sense of the townspeople.
Sheriff Gary Cooper. I know. I've heard all them jokes, so don't start. I live at the yellow house at the back of the station.
Who would know more about Tammy?
Her parents. I would talk to her father in the gas station. Not her mom so much. She just has a way of making you feel so small over nothing. I don't like talking to her.
Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately?
Hell no. It's been the same as ever. Now don't go stirring up trouble, you hear?
Private area. This keypad needs a jolt of power.
Those pigs can go through bone like a hot knife in butter.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Don't step on the crops.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Name's Enoch Griffin. Live right here. Don't call me Nucky.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I don't bother nobody. Nobody ought to bother my pigs. Now go on, get it.
Don't ruin my light.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
I'm busy right now.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Samantha Cash. I live in the pink house next to the park. Don't you come to my house like a pervert, okay?
Okay. What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm the pink bubble. Don't you have internet?
Huh? What?
God, you must be 1,000 years old. I'm the 5th most famous internet personality in my area code.
5th?
I hate those cats.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
It's the most boring place on earth. I'm out of here as soon as I hit 1 million followers.
How many do you have now?
258.
It's very exciting to meet a celebrity. What can you tell me about Tammy Taylor, the missing woman?
Tam Tam, she is my best friend. I can't believe she's missing. I posted 10 times already. #sad.
Have you seen or heard anything unusual lately that might be related to Tammy's disappearance?
2 days ago, I was here taking some nighttime photos, and I heard gunshots coming from the other side of Long Lake.
Where exactly?
Near the construction and stuff.
Did you report it to the sheriff?
Ew, I don't want to talk to that pig.
Who would know more about Tammy?
I'm her BFF.
What do you suspect happened to Tammy?
She would never leave this town without telling me first. I haven't heard from her forever.
How long is forever?
2 days. If something happens to her, I will be sad forever. So go find her!
What can you tell me about the No More Oil group?
That's Tammy's little cause. I find it boring. I think she should leave that to garbage people and make videos with me.
What can you tell me about the oil pipeline construction in town?
They make so much noise sometimes, it ruins my videos.
Did you hear gunshots coming from the oil pipeline last night?
Yes, 2 days ago. Bam, bam, bam! Right across the park at the other side of the Long Lake.
Do you know anything about Tammy's house burning down?
I just don't understand why she ever lived in that crappy trailer. I asked her to move in with me, but she said no. Now that she's homeless, she has to come stay with me.
What do you know about Tammy's stay in rehab?
That's such a celeb move. I should do it sometime.
What are you addicted to?
Being amazing.
Right.
I just put a fresh pot of coffee.
This door is frozen shut. Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
You came to the right place for lunch, dear.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Patty Williams. I live right across the diner with my husband, Earl.
What can you tell me about yourself?
If you're hungry, come see me. Best burgers in town.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
This place used to be packed during lunch. Now everybody's bringing a sandwich to work. They just don't understand a good burger. I've seen what they eat at those barbecue parties at the park.
Hey there, fella.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Sure, go ahead.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Earl Williams. I live right across the shop.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm the town mechanic. I know what you're thinking. How does he work with one arm?
What happened to your arm?
Funny thing, actually. I've lost it at the local bar over some dumb bet. I know it's not exactly your job, but if you could get my arm back from Scott, I'd be really grateful. The bar is at the end of the park road.
I'll see what I can do.
I'll even help you out with some two-arm requiring jobs. It's prosthetic, but it works just like the real thing. Also, take whatever you need from the garage or the house.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
It's the best place to go fishing if you're not hungry.
Why not?
Oh, lake's been dredged a few years ago looking for a dead body. Didn't find anything, but the chemicals killed almost all the fish.
Do you think I want to be in this town?
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
I can't stop you, can I?
Could you tell me your name and address?
Name's Mr. Stillman. Aw, hell, you can call me Paul. Since I can tell we're gonna be such good friends. I don't live in this town.
What can you tell me about yourself?
I'm an oil man. I have many wells flowing at many thousand barrels. Would you like to meet my deaf son?
Hey, isn't that from...
Just fucking with you. I'm not gonna quote your movie lines all day. What I do is make sure this damn pipeline gets built in time and on budget.
What can you tell me about Twin Lakes?
Well, just about the loveliest place I've ever been to. Can't wait to visit again. That was sarcastic. You got that, right?
Yeah, so you don't like the place?
We should have moved on weeks ago. Now they're talking about canceling the project. Just because some kids with too much time on their hands needed attention they didn't get from their mothers.
I never should have joined this shit.
Hi, I'm Detective Sammy Jukes. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Tammy Taylor's disappearance.
Dude, you finally came.
Could you tell me your name and address?
Dave Walker. I live in the fucking trailer park, man. The green trailer's mine.
What can you tell me about yourself?
Chained myself to this fucking pipe until Tammy's found, and nobody can find her. Fucking asshole Greg was supposed to free me. He says he lost the key. I'm deep in mud, I'm wet, I have a fever. You gotta help me, man.
How?
Find the key, man. I'll do anything you want. I can help you find Tammy, for real. Just let me out of here.
I'll see what I can do.
Greg's at the No More Oil office. Go straight from here. Then turn right to the main street. Cut right through the post office. It's this shitty trailer. Man, I'm great at directions and shit.
Well, I can dig holes with this. Empty bullet casing. Empty bullet casings. These are bullet holes. These footprints lead to the lake. These footprints lead to the lake. Someone left with a boat in a hurry.